So basically, like whenever we want to run any of the commands in the Linux, there should be some terminal that should be used to run any of the commands. Like here we are using CentOS as our operating system. In this CentOS, we will be opening the terminal, and using the terminal, we will be running all those commands over there. So if you right click on this, we will be having an option like open terminal. After that, we can click open terminal. So after that, by default, it will be logged into the user that you have logged in. My username is Harsha right now. That's why my user is basically logged in with Harsha. So if I say, who am I? This is the first basic command to know which user you have logged in. Sometimes you can log in with root user also, right? At the time, you need to know which user you have logged in with. So further, the basic command which you need to understand is something like, who am I? So if you want to switch on to root user, suppose you have sudo privileges, like you have a privilege to switch to another user. That is something like a sudo privilege. Then you need to use the following command: sudo switch -root. So sudo is the command, sudo is the privilege which you have, switch user, and root to the user root. I'm using to the switching to the user root. So it is asking my password. I will be giving my password. So after that, my user has been changed to root. If you see here, initially it is pointing to Harsha, right? Now my user is basically changed to root. So if I do, who am I again? Now I logged in as a root user. So many of us know like what exactly a root user has. Like as a root user, you have permissions to perform anything, right? So if you are logged in with any of the other users like Harsha or something like that, you have only permissions to edit or update or delete whatever in the corresponding folder only, which the root folder of your Harsha user. Whereas if you are a root user, you have permissions to edit, delete, update, or perform whatever operation using the root user as such. Right now, my home directory of the root user is something like /. Whereas if you want to know the home directory of the Harsha user, what exactly would be the home directory of Harsha user? You need to check after logging into that user, you need to just click pwd. So this is the home directory of Harsha user. Okay. So within this home folder, you can perform anything. You can create a file, you can delete a file, you can upload a file, you can perform any of these operations within your home folder. And outside your home folder, if you want to do anything, if you want to do any modifications as per using this Harsha user, you cannot perform all those things. For that, you need to know the security management and also file permissions also, which we will be discussing later. Okay. Till now, we discussed about two commands. One is something like which user we have logged in, which is done by using who am I. And also, if you want to switch to another user like root, sudo su hyphen. Sudo is the privilege my user has. Su is something like switch user hyphen. What kind of user I need to switch to? I want to switch it to root. That's why I gave root user. If there are other users, then I can switch to other users also. Let's check if I have any other users here. Right now, I have only single user. That's why I'm able to switch only to Harsha user. In future, I will be creating other users also and show how to switch to other users also. Okay. The next important command which we need to understand is something like listing of a file. The basic command which is used for listing of a file is something like ls. So in any directory, like in your current present working directory, like it is something like /. Let's go to home. /home. /Harsha. If I type ls, it will list all the files which are present in the corresponding folder as such. So in this folder, Harsha, we have desktop, documents, downloads, hello world.sh. There are multiple files, and also few folders are also present, right? So how would you differentiate a specific thing as a folder or a file? By looking, we cannot understand, right, whether the desktop is a folder or documents is a folder or a file. So for that, we need to use an extra command like ls minus lrth. So if you give ls minus lrth, by looking into this, we can understand whether a specific given name is a directory or a file. How we are differentiating? See, here desktop is there, right? Initially, if you see the permissions of the desktop, it is appended with D. If something is appended with D, then we call it as a directory. So here the pictures is directory. What about the videos? Is it directory or a file? Please let me know. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. What exactly is a video? Is it directory or a file? I'm audible.
It's a directory, I guess.
Yeah, it's a directory because initially we have D appended to the permissions. By looking into that only, we can simply say it is a directory. So if you see here, Harsha, here it doesn't have any appended thing over here in the permissions. By looking into this, you can understand it is not a directory. Then it is some other random file. Okay. So by looking into this, by looking into the ls, you will understand whether the folder is, whether a specific thing is a file or a directory. Apart from that, you have other permissions also, which is listed over here. Let's see what are all the other permissions which you see over here. So apart from the directory, we have other permissions which are listed over here. Something like rwx, r-x, r-x. Okay. In this, R is something like read. W is something like write. X is something like execute. Okay. So let's copy one of the permissions in the local and try to decode what exactly it is talking. Okay. So let me open a notepad. So do anyone understand file permissions? Do anyone have prior experience on what exactly is a file permission and everything?
No.
No, right? Like, let us
So
listen.
with file permission, I think we can, like, if we don't have a permission to edit, we cannot do edit on that file
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
write or something.
So let me explain in detail. Like right now, we see let rwx, r-x, r-x, r-x to a file.txt. Suppose if a file has these kind of permissions, so what does it mean? So the first three permissions are corresponding to the user which is assigned with user. The next three permissions are assigned to the group. The next three permissions are assigned to others. Okay. So what exactly mean by user? Suppose let's go here. Like if I type who am I, like it will understand which user I have logged in, right? So here for the user Harsha, I have permissions, right? Read, write, execute. Like if I log in with the user Harsha, like I can perform read operation on that file, write operation on that file, and execute that file. Okay. Similarly, another thing is there. This is user Harsha, and this is group name. Here the group name is also Harsha for this. So if you are logged in with this group, then the group has the following permissions. So within this group, it has permissions like read, but it doesn't have permissions to write. It has permissions to execute. You know, right? So there can be user 1, user 2. Both belong to the group, same group. Okay. If you think user 1 is Harsha and user 2 is some random name, Deepak. Suppose right now you are logged in with user 1. What kind of permissions you will have for the file.txt? You will have read, write, and execute. You have complete permissions to perform anything on this file. Okay. Suppose using sudo su hyphen Deepak. Like now you switch it to Deepak as a user. Now what kind of permissions you have? Like we haven't defined any permissions to user 2, right? So at that time, it will check which group it belongs to. Okay. It still belongs to the same group of user 1, right? Which is same thing like Harsha. So as it belongs, as the user 2 belongs to the same group of Harsha, like the same permissions will be assigned to the user 2 also. Like it will be having read and execute, and it doesn't have the write permissions on the file.txt. Is it clear for you people, or shall I repeat it once again?
It's clear.
Clear, right? Like other people also, like I just put. So I'm just saying there are 2 users, and this user belongs to group Harsha. And also other user also belongs to group Harsha. Okay. Suppose initially if you are logged in with the user Harsha, you have complete permissions like read, write, execute on this file.txt. Suppose you have logged in with user 2 Deepak. We haven't defined any permissions to this user, right? For this file.txt. This is a different user. So for that user, then it will check for the group which it belongs to. So it will check for the group Harsha, what exactly the group has read hyphen and execute. So it doesn't have a write permission. That's why when you logged in with the user Deepak, then you will have only read and execute permissions, and you don't have other permissions. Suppose there is another user 3, like Veena, and group is something like test. Okay, what kind of permissions we have right now based on our understanding? Can someone explain? Like right now our user is Veena, and the group that is attached to that user is test user. So if for the file.txt, what kind of permissions I will have? Can anyone want to try this? Just speak out.
Will
Like
it
if
will
even
it be only read?
sorry, tell me.
I think it will have only read permissions.
No. So here if you see, if it belongs to the same user like Harsha, it has read, write, execute. If it belongs to the same group Harsha, it has read and execute. Now it belongs to others, like user 3 Veena doesn't belongs to Harsha, doesn't belong to this group also. This is a different group, test group, right? Now it checks for the permissions of others. Like what are the other permissions it has? It has the permissions, right? Read and execute. Even if you're logged in with the user Veena, you have the permissions of read and execute on this file. Okay. If you want to restrict other permissions, then you need to give just hyphen. Okay. So if you are logged in with Veena, then Veena cannot do anything with your file. Then your permission should be in the form read, write, execute, read hyphen execute hyphen on file.txt. Okay. Then the third user and which doesn't belongs to the same group will not have any permissions to perform any operation in this file.txt. Okay. Hope it is clear for you people. And apart
Okay,
from that,
so
yeah,
this line will set the permissions for every group, right?
yes.
Which you typed just in. Yeah. Okay.
So similarly, like how I need to give a file permissions. Right now I'm saying read, write, execute, read hyphen execute hyphen hyphen hyphen. Like I cannot give such kind of commands over there, right? Right. WX or something. So if I want to set permissions like this, how I need to give? There is a command like chmod. Okay. Like there is an octal representation, like it is something like 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. If you know 2 power 0 is 1, 2 power 1 is 2, and 2 power 2 is 4, right? Execute, write, read. Okay. So if you want to give such permissions, if you want to give user 3, Veena, or other some, if you want to give other permissions to just execute it, then what exactly you need to give is something like chmod 771 file.txt. What is this 7 and 7? 7 and 7 is something like I want to give both read, write, and execute for the users. Like 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. For the group also, I want to give read, write, execute. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why I gave. But for others, I want to give only execute permissions. So what is the execute permission? Then we need to give only 1. Okay. Similarly, if I want to give group only read permission, what should be my representation? Can someone tell? 7. So for user, it is 7. I gave read, write, execute. But I want to give only read permissions for my group. What should be the octal representation over here?
4.
4.
4.
Exactly. And similarly, the last one I want to give only execute permission. That's why 741 file.txt. You got it, right? Like,
Can you come again for what is like what chmod does? Means what is the work of it
okay.
for that?
So chmod gives changes the permissions for a given file actually. Change the permissions for a given file. So using chmod, you can have a octal representation to change the permissions of a given file as such. Right now, octal representation for the read is something like 4, write is something like 2, execute is something like 1. Like if you want to give all the permissions for a given user, like you need to add all the 3 things, 4 plus 2 plus 1. Here you see, here you saw, right? User has read, write, execute. Then you need to give 7 first. For group, we have read and execute only. What is read and execute? Read is for execute. It is 5 only. For others, we don't have any 0. Is it clear? Hello? Yeah. Sagar. Okay. So is it clear or shall I repeat it once again? Like how to give your permissions to the group? Like let's do it practically, then you will understand. Okay. So I'm giving ls minus ls. Right now, there is a file like Harsha, right? This has read write permissions for user. For group also it has read write permissions. For others, it has only read permissions, right? But I want to change the permissions. For user also, I want to give complete permissions like read, write, execute. So what I have to do, chmod. I should be giving first one as 7. So next one, I want to give only read permissions. I want to remove the write permissions also. What should I give? It should be
4.
4. Same. I just want to keep the read permission as it is for the others also. Right? What should I give? It is also same 4. Then if I give to Harsha, what exactly happened? Like, let me get the permissions of Harsha also. As I said, I gave the complete permissions for the user. I gave only read permissions for the group. I gave only read permissions for the others. Okay. Like, right. The next thing is something like, I want to remove write and execute permissions for the user. Can someone tell me what exactly I need to do? I don't want to give write and execute permissions for the user as well. What should be my command? Chmod.
2.
Yeah, tell me. Is it whatever you say?
244.
Sorry.
244.
Okay. If you give 2, what will happen? Let's see. As you said, I am giving 2. Okay. 4 and 4. Do you think it will be correct? I want only read permission for user. Okay, let me check. So what you gave?
Okay. Right, read.
Yeah, let's go to the notepad also. So write is 2. I said we have to give read permissions. Then it should be 4. Okay. If you want to give execute permissions, then it should be 1. So if you want to simply remember this, it should be an octal representation. 2 power 0, 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. 2 power. You know 2 power 2 is 4. 2 square is 4. 2 power 1 is 2. And 2 power 0 is 1. In this way, we can easily refer and understand what kind of permissions and how to give each and every permission. Okay. Let me try to give another set of permissions and someone try it. Okay. So I want to give read write permissions to others. Can someone say?
Six, 4.
Okay, 644. Right now, you told me 644, right? What does 6 does? Just want to check with you. 6 is something like it will give both write and execute. 2 plus 4, right? It will give 644 is something like it will give read, write and write for the user. 4 is something like it will give only read for the others and only write for the others. So is it what I am asking you? No, right? I'm saying for others, I want write and read.
Yes.
Then what is write?
So others is 6.
Sorry?
I mean, last one is the 6.
Last one should be 6. As I said, I gave read and write permissions to others. Okay. Is it clear? Like by practice, you will come to understand all these things. But generally, like you need to understand this octal representation and what are the 3 different things you need to understand. What are the first 3 permissions refers to? First 3 are refers to user. It belongs. The next 3 belongs to the group. The next 3 belongs to the others. Okay. Hope it is clear for you people. Like by this, the file permission system. Like if you still have any other issues or questions, like feel free to ask. Okay. Now we understand about the file permissions. So what are the next thing we have over here? Here I'm seeing Harsha and root for few of the things. The first thing in this Harsha is something like the user it belongs to. Okay. The next Harsha here is something like the group it belongs to. Okay. Here, though it is saying the same name, like I have created the same user and also the same group over here and assigned this. That's why you're seeing Harsha and Harsha over here. In future, you may see admin over here, Harsha and admin. And also Deepak and admin. Because it's a group, right? In a group, there can be multiple users. That's why there can be a common group and different type of users can be assigned. In this way, we can differentiate what are the files and users which we have. Okay. And also the next thing is something like the sizes of each and every file which we have. Okay. Here hello world.sh is there, right? It is something like 471 MB. And jenkins.txt is there, right? It is something like 689 MB. And the next thing which we are seeing it over here is something like the date at which it is created. It is created on May 11th. Okay. This year only. So it is created on May 11th, 9:34 AM. May 13th, 23:47 time. So in this way, we will understand when the file has been created. So this is the basic command through which we will understand the basic permissions of a file and also which user and group a corresponding file or a folder belongs to and how much size that file has and also when the file has been created. These are all the few permissions which we will come to know using this ls-lrth. Okay. Hope it is clear for you people. Like, do you want me to repeat it again? Okay. So there are few other things which we need to understand apart from ls-lrth. There are few hidden files in your current directory which you cannot simply see. If you want to see the hidden files also, then you need to add one more option to ls-lrth. That is something like ls-lrth space A, one more option. It will show hidden files also. So how can you know a file is hidden or something like that? If there is something like prefix like .local, .dbus, .est_, .cache, .config, .vminfo, .bash history, these are all like hidden folders or hidden files. You cannot simply see those files if you do ls-lrth. ls-lrth will show only the normal files. If you want to see the hidden files also, then you need to add an extra option like ls-lrth. After that, you need to have an extra option like A. Then you will come to know all these hidden files. Okay. I'm saying you need to give this extra option like A, L, R, T, H, and everything, right? How we will come to know whether we need to give this kind of options and how we will know whether these options are existing or not. Do you know how to find these options for a specific command? Any idea? What is L stands for? What is R stands for? What is A stands for? You need to understand, right? We cannot simply give those commands anywhere. Like in order to understand those commands, we need to use this command like man ls. If you give man ls, it will say what is ls, list directory contents. What are the options it has? -A, okay, -B, -C, -D. What are all the other options it has and what does it do? Okay, if you give ls-d, it will list only directories. Okay. Similarly, there are other options also. If you give -o, it is almost similar to -l. Okay, use it for long listing. Like long listing in the sense it will show which folder it belongs to, what are the file permissions it has, when it has been created. All these things will be shown if you use -l or -o. Similarly, if you want to know any of the options which a specific command has, you need to use the man command. Okay. Suppose right now we just know how to check the options of ls. If you want to know the options of other commands like remove, rm is command for removing a file or a directory. I want to check the options of remove, then man rm. So what does rm do? Remove files or directories. What are the options it has? If you give -f, it will forcefully delete a file or a directory. Similarly, it will have some other options, like if you want to have a version output, it will be showing it over there. All these things will be showed using man command. Okay. So people understood about this ls and man command, right, till now? Is it clear, or do you want me to repeat it once again for your understanding? If anything is missing, please let me know. I think it is clear for you. The next command you need to understand is something like, right now we understood about ls. The next command is something like we need to understand is something like changing a directory. Right now I'm in which directory? Home Harsha. Suppose I want to go to documents. My basic command that should be given over here is something like cd documents. So using the cd, I can switch from one folder to another folder. My present working directory is something like Home Harsha. Okay. Again, I will be doing ls. Here I don't have any content, or let me go back. cd desktop. Here also I don't have any content. See, again, if I want to go to this folder test, which I have just created, I need to do cd test. Okay. Present working directory, something like I'm in the folder Home Harsha desktop test. Suppose I just want to move to Home Harsha directly. Then I can do cd/home/Harsha. Now I move to cd/home/Harsha. Suppose I want to go to the home directory of this corresponding user. Then what I have to do? Suppose I'm in a different folder, like let's go to desktop test. Suppose I want to go to home directory of this folder of this user Harsha. What is my user? Who am I? I'm Harsha, right? If I want to go to home directory, I need to use cd-tilt. So if I use cd-tilt, I will be going to the home directory. What is my home directory? Home Harsha. Suppose sudo su-. Now I went to root user, right? Currently, I'm in root Tomcat logs. My user is something like root, right? What is the root home directory for the root? It is something like /. If I want to directly go to the home directory of my root user, then what I have to do? cd space tilt. If I give tilt, directly it will go to the home directory of my logged in user. If you see present working directory, I just came to the root. In this way, if you want to navigate to home directory of any of the user, then we can simply give cd tilt. Okay. And one more thing we can do is something like, if you want to go to the previous directory which you have logged in. Right now you are in /root, right? Previously you have logged into or moved to /root Tomcat logs. Then you need to give cd hyphen. Now you move to /root/tomcat/logs. Okay. If I give cd hyphen again, what will happen? So basically cd hyphen is the command. It will just move yourself to the older directory which you have logged in. So currently I am in root Tomcat logs. If I give cd hyphen again, where it will go?
For the root.
/root. It will again go to /root. So if you want to navigate here and there in between two folders, you can do cd/. You understood, right? cd/, it again move to this folder. Again, if I give cd/, it will go to /root. Again, if I give cd/, it will go to root and contacts. It is like swap from here to there, there to here. Okay. Here we learned about two things. One is something like cd is switching from one directory to another directory. And cd hyphen is something like a swapping from one directory to another directory. Like suppose initially you have logged into /root and you move to /root Tomcat logs. If you want to switch in between two these folders, you need to use cd hyphen. Cd tilt is something like, if you want to move to the home directory of a corresponding folder, you need to use cd tilt. Okay. These are the three commands which you have learned till now. Let's go to the next one. RM. Okay. So suppose there is if you want to remove any of the file that you have created or folder that you have created, then you need to use RM. So let me remove a file, RM. Harsha. If you do ls-lrth again, you won't see Harsha over here. Initially Harsha is there, right? I removed that file Harsha. Suppose if I want to delete a directory, how to delete it? If let me do. Similarly, I want to remove a directory desktop. Can I do using RM? Let's see. If I do RM desktop, it will say it is a directory. You cannot simply remove using RM command. Then what you need to do? You need to use command rm-rf desktop. Okay. Then it hasn't failed, right? Like if you want to remove a directory, then you need to go with rm-rf. If you want to remove a file, just you can simply use RM. These are the two things you need to understand. Now, if you see, desktop is not there. Okay. And one more important command you need to understand is something like, if you want to create a file, what is the command you need to use? There are multiple ways to create a command. Using VI editor, we can create a file. I'm not going to VI editor right now. In future, we'll go to VI editor to edit a file and create a file. Right now, I'm using simple command like touch sample.txt. So using this touch command, I have created a sample.txt as a file. How do you know it is a file? If you see here, it is not appended with -d right in the permissions. So it is a file. So using touch command, I have created a file. Suppose if I want to see the contents in a file, how would I see? Suppose I have already created hello world.sh. Right? I just want to see what are the contents in the hello world.sh. The command that I need to use is something like cat. Here you see it, right? Using the cat, I'm able to see all the contents of the file. Okay, this file is pretty small, like it has only 20 to 30 lines, right? Suppose if I have a big file, like around thousands of lines, if I want to see starting 10 lines of a file, how would I do? We need to use head. So if I use head, it will just show the starting 10 lines of the file. If I want to see last 10 lines of the same file, I need to use tail. It is showing last 10 lines of the file. Okay. So in this way, we will understand what are the different commands we have. Like if you see tail hello world.sh, it is showing only last few lines of this, not the first few lines of this. So in this way, we will understand, like if you want to see the first few lines of the file, if you want to see the last few lines of the file, you can use any of these commands and execute them. Okay. Hope it is clear for you people till now, like any other questions. Okay. Let's go with the other one. Like if I have thousands of lines, I just want to scroll down the file. What exactly I need to do is something like I can use more command. Hello world.sh. Right now, it is only showing 66% of the file, not the 100% of the file. If I press enter, it will just scroll down. It is showing now it is 71%. Next line came into the picture, right? Again enter. So in this way, I can read out the complete file in a single screen using the more command, more, M-O-R-E. So I need to press enter so that it will scroll down and it will show the what kind of percentage it's showing. Like till now it reached 83% of the file content. If I still hit enter, it reached 100% and just command prompt will come at the end of the file. Okay. So these are like few of the file commands which we need to understand. Hope it is clear for you people, like touch and everything, head, more, cat. And one more command which we need to understand is something like, suppose I want to rename this file sample.txt to some other name like harsha.txt. How would I do? I need to use move command, mv, move source to some new name. What is my new name? I said harsha.txt. If I see ls minus lrth. So it has been renamed to harsha.txt. So in this way, these are few of the file commands which we need to understand. And using this file permissions, using this file commands, we will be doing daily operations in day-to-day work as such. And apart from that, we also learned about the file permissions today. And let's learn about few other searching patterns. Okay. Yeah, let me go. And so let's open hello world.sh. Here we have city, right? In this, I want to check whether which file consists of the content city order. Like I am going back. So I don't know. I want to set a pattern like in all the files. Like if it consists of city, I need to know the file name. Then I need to do grep content is city. Star. So I want to search a file which consists of content city. Similarly, in future, like in the real time, you want to search if a file consists of errors or something like that. At that time, you need to search grep error star. So if any of the file consists of error, then it will be showing the corresponding file name. Now I have searched for the city, right? Like in hello world.sh, we have the city present. That's why it showed the corresponding file name out here. In this way, we can search the corresponding any of the pattern from a corresponding file as such. Okay. And if you want to update city to some other thing, like right now, I kept it as city, right? I want to modify city as city name in this corresponding file. I can use the sed command. Sed is something like stream editor. You are seeing it, right? If I do cat this file, it is showing echo city $city. Right? I want to change the city as city name in the complete file, not only once. Then I am using sed command. Sed yes slash. What is the pattern I want to change? I want to change city to city name. City source pattern to destination pattern. What is the file name I'm updating on? Hello world.sh. Okay. vi hello world.sh. What happened? Initially, if you remember, it used to be city name. Now I changed the pattern to, sorry, initially it used to be city. Now I changed the complete pattern in the file to city name. So if you want to do multiple modifications in a single file, suppose wherever you see name, I just want to change the name as last name. Then what exactly? The same command I will be using. The source is something like name. The changed value is something like new name. So wherever I see name in the file, it will be updated to new name. See here it is initially it used to be name, right? Now it is changed to new name. Initially it used to be last name. Wherever I see name, it will be updated to new name. Recently we changed it to city name, right? Now city name is changed to city new name. In this way, if you want to update all the patterns using a single command, this is the command which you need to use. Sed. Okay. So that's it for today. Like here today we have learned about few of the file commands and also permissions, how to update permissions and how to give permissions to a specific file. And also few pattern commands and how to search for a specific pattern and how to update a specific pattern in a complete file. All these things we have learned today. Like if you have any questions, let us discuss that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question actually. Are you providing any some notes or everything, because of we have people are from non-IT background also, so we haven't previously any idea about that. So if you provide some notes, everything, we can see that note and practice our own way.
Like yesterday, Madhu might have shared you from documentation. Did you receive that?
Yeah.
If you go through and open the documentation, you will see all the commands which we have discussed.
Okay. And that video have shared yesterday, that is the installation full process.
Yeah. Which installation process? Yesterday's video is something like what we have discussed yesterday. I shared the same video.
Okay. Because if I installed that virtual box,
Ah.
I was installed, but I am getting stock over there how to install that Linux, how to run.
Definitely, like I will teach all those commands right now. Like it is still a demo session, right? For 2 days or something like that. That's why I
Yeah,
just want to complete demo before going into the installation part of it. Definitely, whenever we are doing the lab session, like after, like tomorrow, I will try to complete most of the commands. After that, we will have a lab session, right? Definitely, we will sit together and work on installation of this virtual machine.
okay, okay, fine.
You got it, right? Like before that, I just want you to download it so that you can have it handy in your local.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
So, and most of the things I have shared the documentation, like today commands which I have discussed today, like ls, cd, head, tail, rm. All these commands I have already shared the documentation yesterday itself. Like you can go through the documentation and try to practice it if you have any Linux mission. Otherwise, we will practice it together whenever we have a lab. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Once we set up this virtual machine in your local, you can practice on your own also. There is no requirement for me. Like until the first session, like please do bear for some time. Like, otherwise, you can also try on your own to set up your own virtual box and try to run these commands. Okay. Before all this. And hope it is clear for you people till now. Like if you have any questions till now, like please go to the video once again and try to practice it if you have chance to practice it. Okay. Otherwise, go through the documentation. Thanks, people. Have a nice day.
Thank you.